Okay, this last example, students, it has 3 pieces. So remember, it says use correct notation. So always start out with f of x equals. If it has 3 pieces, you want to make this little funky bracket. I want 6 lines, okay? If it has 3 pieces, 6 lines. If it has 2 pieces, then you're just gonna do 4 lines. Now, but sometimes you don't have to write the equation to find the answer to the requested information, okay? Let's see what we can find first without doing any work. Remember, this is gonna be arrows. If you don't see a closed dot, open dot, Desmos, it's gonna say arrows. The domain is gonna be all real numbers because we don't have any gaps on the x's. Whenever there's an open circle, there's a closed one below it or above it. So it's gonna be all real numbers and we can write it as a negative infinity to infinity. The range, guys, is gonna be all real. The range is going to be from down here. So negative infinity. Then looks like we are stopping at 0 because there's nothing between 0 and positive 1. So this one's tricky and a little bit more difficult to understand. So pay attention to this one. So from negative infinity all the way to 0, parentheses, union, there isn't anything from 0 to 1, but then I do have a flat line at y equals to 1. So we're gonna say, okay, we're just going to include 1 with this set notation like that, okay? Now, sometimes I'll take this as well. Negative infinity to 0 and y equals 1, and that's okay to have, okay? Increasing, yes, you do. This right here is your increasing piece. So the x value for that, smaller x first, negative infinity, and this x over here is negative 2. And that would be bracket because that's a closed dot. Decreasing, yes, we have 1. It's gonna be over here because this is where we're sliding down. And this right here, student, that x value is going to be 4, and it goes to the right indefinitely. So at 4, it's going to be a parentheses because this piece, it's an open circle, okay? Yes, we have a constant. A constant means a flat piece. So it's gonna be from negative 2 open circle to positive 4 closed circle. Negative 2 parentheses, positive 4 bracket. Find, this one right here says find y when x is 0. So when x is 0, y is 1. Next one, find y when x is negative 4. So let's go find where x is negative 4 is at. This is negative 5, so negative 4 is right here. Let's see what that y value is. It's negative 4, okay? So y is negative 4 when x is negative 4. Find x when y is 7. All right, let's see. 7 is up here. There's nothing up there. There's no flat piece. There's no increasing piece. There's no constant piece. So the answer is none. Remember, the graph has to intersect, okay, for us to have an answer. Find x when f of x, aka y, is negative 5. So let's draw a horizontal line at negative 5, this piece, and we have 2 answers. The first one is x at negative 5. So, and then the second one, it looks like it's not a nice number, so we are going to have to find the equation first before we can find that second x value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this because I'm going to write the second x value there. So that means we have to now go find the rest of them because we can't answer any more without finding the equation, okay? So first piece, again, I'm just going to go from left to right, okay? So the domain for this first piece is going to be x is less than, right? Less than negative 2. And equal to, since that is a closed circle, okay? This is a closed circle, so that's why x is less than or equal to negative 2. This one right here, x is in the middle. It's bigger than negative 2, but at the same time, 2, 4 is less than or equal to 4. Then this piece over here, this third piece over here, this one right here is going to say that x has to be bigger than, because it's an open circle, so it's going to say bigger than 4, non-inclusive. So that's how you get the domain of those pieces. Now the middle piece, students, is super easy to write the y value because the y value is always 1. There's no x variable needed in that piece. Then I'm going to use green next to label this point. We know that this point right here is -2, comma -2. And I'm just going to count the slope. I'm going to pick this next nice dot. Okay, here's how we count the slope. Ready? I'm going to make it bigger for you guys to see. We're going to go down. That means it's -1. Left is also -1. So the slope, because down is -1, left is -1, -1 over -1, students, that's going to be a +1. So your slope is +1. And so let's use it. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1, and we will substitute in your point. So y minus a minus is going to be a -2 because your y is -2. This one, the y and the x, they happen to be exactly the same, okay? All right, 2 negatives, guys, will make it a positive here, a positive here. If you're multiplying by 1 or distributing the 1, you're going to end up having y plus 2 equals x plus 2. Move the 2 over, so that's going to cancel. You are going to end up with y equals to x. So this piece, student, is just going to be y equals to x. Then the flat piece is already done. The next piece, guys, I'm going to use what color? This color. Okay. Label your point. So this point is going to say 4, 0. This one right there. 4, 0. Your slope, let me pick a nice dot. This one looks nice. So let's count. Go down 1, 2, 3. So that's -3. Okay. To the right one. So that's +1. So your slope is just simply -3. And then we're going to do the same thing. Y minus your point, which is 0, equals -3 times x minus 4. Well, y minus 0, guys, is exactly the same as nothingness. So distribute -3x, +12. And this is where we're writing that in. -3x plus 12. Okay, so remember we talked about earlier how we would need the equation to find x values when y equals 5. So we found the first one without doing any work. Remember? Okay, so this was found. No work needed because that's a nice number. But the third piece, that's not possible for us to estimate. So we have to plug x in. Okay, I'm sorry, not x in, y in. So find x when y equals -5, meaning that we need to take this and set it equal to -5. So -5 equals -3x plus 12. -12 from both sides, so that's going to be a -17 equals -3x. Divide both sides by -3, so x is going to be a +17 over 3. If you want to put it in mixed number, I'm totally okay with that. That's going to give you 5. 5 times 3 is 15, so your remainder is 2/3, okay? So the second x value is positive 5 and 2/3. And now, because it's a denominator of 3 there, please do not give me 5.67 because that's not accurate. You have to give it to me either 17 over 3 or 5 and 2/3.